Welcome to the Media Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And we are going to talk about the streaming service landscape. It's been a while since we've, I guess we're kind of crawling out from the rock under which we've been living, the Book of Boba Fett, for the past few months. But there are other streaming services out there besides Disney Plus, Kenton. Did you know this?
I've never heard of such a thing. What are these strange things of which you speak?
Did you know? Do you know how to stream the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus? Do you know? I have an article here that can show you.
I need an article that gives it to me in 6 bullet points because I need it to be spelled out very clearly how I can watch the Book of Boba Fett at home.
Right.
And how are you supposed to watch a book? How am I supposed to do that? Am I just supposed to open it on the first page and look at it from far away?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Anyway, no. We're having fun here. Last week on Star Wars Nerds, we had a blast just roasting the clickbait. We had so much fun. I think that's just going to become a regular segment. Now something weird is happening on this article that I'm trying to see. This is the invasive advertising we have here. I'm on people.com. And I can't get rid of this. This is so I'm going to move your head down here, Kenton. Sorry about that.
I'm the advertising teacher, and I cannot stand what, and I guess it's not the advertiser's fault. I guess they're merely participants in a terrible process by which People magazine sells ads and then completely destroys the purpose of its website by making it impossible to navigate.
I don't know what happened there. I'm just going to search that one again.
Poor Melinda Gates, by the way, she only got a $10 billion divorce settlement. I feel so bad for her. I feel bad. It must have been so hard to back up the dump truck to get that money thrown in it. By the way, that was the top article that we got here.
See, look at this. And then it pops up again. I can't get rid of this header. I cannot get rid of this Lululemon header. We're going to leave it. It's whatever. Let's get into the nerd news. Nerd news.
This reminds me, I need stretch pants. Lululemon. I don't. Go ahead. Forget it.
This weekend, the Batman comes to theaters, Kenton. Are you excited for the Batman?
I'm mostly excited for the word "the," since that's the only thing that appears to be new. How about you?
I think the only thing left for them to do is just have a movie called Batman. That's it. Nothing else. Just the word Batman. And that's the last one they'll make ever, hopefully, because there's a lot of them now.
Well,
right?
And they all appear to cover the same ground. We've covered the same ground.
We have, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we've covered it a lot because the movies cover it a lot. And the Joker, we made the joke with the Joker that we hope we don't see Batman's mother's pearls fall in slow motion. That's the oldest joke ever now.
Yeah.
And it showed us that anyway. It showed us the thing that we were making fun of. And so as long as they keep showing us the old joke, we have to keep making the old joke, which is irritating. I just have a bad feeling about this movie. All of the advanced praise actually makes me feel worse about it because that's what happens with every movie now. It's like heavy advanced praise followed by what a piece of junk this is. And I have to say, even Spider-Man, which everybody seems to love, I still have not seen it. It's been spoiled a million times, so I know what happened.
That's too bad.
But even that, what I find very odd is it was everybody's favorite movie, and then the oxygen completely went out of it after about 2 weeks.
Yes, that's true.
And when you think about the days of Star Wars, when it was in the theater for 2 years, or Jaws, and it's like people would get around to seeing it 2 years later, those days are over.
Oh, absolutely,
like,
the runtime for movies.
Gone.
Yeah, runtime for movies in theaters is a couple of weeks, and that's it. That's even as short as I would say 5 years ago, it was at least 2 or 3 months you could count on a movie to be in the theater. But now there's nowhere near that amount. And yeah, we should have a conversation about theaters again. I'm actually going to go see this weekend, Kenton. I'm planning to go see the Batman in the theater.
Buy the popcorn.
I'm going to buy the popcorn and the Pepsi. But yeah, I'm not, I don't know. It's kind of a test for me because I haven't actually watched any trailers on this. This is one of those movies that I like Batman. I like the ones with, what's his name? Were good. Christian Bale were good. Everyone says that, right? But we've had so many of these at this point. I'm just looking for that big theater experience that you get with these movies when they come out first weekend. I really love that. So that's what I'm going for. So I'll let you know how it is. But this story we're talking about is about AMC in the US. AMC is a theater chain, not the TV channel that we get here, but a theater chain. I don't think they're related. Are they related? Is it the same company?
Unknown to me, but I don't believe so. Something
Just a
tells me I would
coincidence.
know that if
Just
that
a
were the
coincidence.
case, but maybe
And,
not.
and are the either of them related to the car, the AMC car manufacturer? Okay,
Well, I have another question for you. Is All My Children in any way related to
right.
this? The soap
How many
opera?
other things can we tie into AMC? I don't know. No, the story here is The Batman will cost $1.50 more at Los Angeles AMC than other movies playing at the same theater at the same time. They're adding a premiere charge for this movie because it's the first weekend, because they know lots of people are going to want to watch it. They're upping the price. So it's like supply and demand. The demand goes up. The how does it work again, Kenton? You taught me this and I can't remember.
Supply goes up, demand goes down, and
Demand goes up, supply goes down, the price. Yeah. But if supply goes down, the price will go up, right? So this is just that. They're raising the price because they know the demand is there.
Right. And well, sure. But I got a better idea if they want to do this, and that's put a parking meter at the front of the theater or a taxi meter. And then if you leave early, you only pay for the portion of the movie that you've seen. So it starts ticking at the beginning of the film.
Oh, that's so funny. That's hilarious. They could do it with your phone. They could do it with your phone. You just time it, right?
Yeah.
You just time it and have it tell when you leave the theater, and it would say, okay, you only pay for 30 minutes because that's when you walked out of the Batman.
What the thing that made me think about that was I used to work at the Town Cinema as an usher here in Winnipeg, and it was a regular thing that somebody would leave a theater and say, that movie is a piece of shit and I want my money back. And then you'd go, well, guess what? We have a no money back policy. You have a choice. I can give you these gift certificates so you can come back, or this movie just started in the theater next door. You can go see that. And 99% of the time they go, theater next door. And they go in and they would not come out. They were happy. They wanted immediate gratification.
Yeah.
And that seemed to solve the problem for most of them. But the idea that you have to pay the same amount for a movie that you don't enjoy as when you do enjoy is it's kind of funny. It's funny.
Well, it's just like any other type of media, right? You don't know if it's going to be good. You take a risk every time you watch something or read something or just listen or consume media in any way. So, I mean, there's a lot of hype about this movie. Even though I haven't been paying attention, I've been watching the trailers. I can still feel the hype. There's a Batman pizza. Did you see this for Little Caesars? Oh my God, this is just the worst. It does not look like, it only looks like Batman from a certain angle, a bat symbol. If you look at it the wrong way, it looks like an apple with bites taken out of it. I'm like, what is that? But that's their promotion. I'm trying to remember what was the promotion for the Tim Burton Batman. There was something at McDonald's. I can't remember what it was, a cheeseburger meal or something, double cheeseburger meal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty unfortunate that and by the way, we have Michael Keaton who's going to be Batman again, I guess, in the next Flash movie, and we've sort of reached a Batman saturation point.
Yeah,
where there's a lot of Batman running around or who have been running around, and I don't know, it's good if it's a good movie, good. I just get the feeling from this that, and as I say, the advance hype is positive, so good for this Batman movie. But I'm not a fan of the main actor, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
Pattinson or Pattison?
Pattinson.
Pattinson.
Pattison is the name of the media company. That's why we mix it up. We have a media company in Canada called Pattison Outdoor. They own all the billboards and a lot of radio stations as well, but it's Pattinson with an N. And I mean, I haven't seen him in a ton. I've never seen Twilight. I've never seen those movies. So I don't know anything about that. But apparently he doesn't like that he did that. He regrets doing those films. Fine.
He's not a guy who drips with charisma.
No, it's true.
He'll show up and he'll do a good job in the role, but it doesn't make me want to rush to the theater to see his take on it. Whereas a guy like Michael Keaton, I remember, it was like, what you mean this funny comedian guy is going to somehow be a serious Batman? And like, how's this going to work? Like there was that sort of interest in that sort of unfolding. And I don't have that same level of interest because this actor is like a lot of actors these days are kind of, they'll show up, they'll do the job, but like, do you really love them as actors? Do you want to see everything they do? And there really aren't that many anymore. That's the case.
Yeah, the marketing strategy behind something like this is to get those Twilight fans and those people who do love Robert Pattinson to come see like people who would not normally go see a Batman movie to go see a Batman movie, because you're going to get the Batman fans, right? Anybody who loves Batman will go see it. So they're trying to, by casting him, they're trying to get another audience in there, right? And he probably loves Batman too, so I'm sure he's excited about playing the role, and good on him. Like, hey, if you get the chance to play Batman, why wouldn't you take it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't blame him necessarily. And again, I'll let you know. I'll go see it, and I'll let you know how it is next week when we talk about Star Wars.
Well, I can't wait to hear about it. I pray that Batman's mother is not in it. I pray.
Should have a-
Please give us a break from that.
I should make a bingo card, Batman bingo card for like pearls
Oh.
falling. What else would there be in there?
Black turtleneck. A
he has
black
to say-
turtleneck is
yeah.
important.
He has to say, "I'm Batman" at some point
I'm Batman.
in that
I'm
voice.
The Batman. I'm the Batman.
He has to say the Batman. I'm the Batman. That's the. Oh,
I'm the gets hit in the mouth. Doesn't get to Batman.
it reminds me of the Bartman. Remember the Bartman?
Yes, of course. Do the Bartman. That was the most interesting Batman rebrand we had.
Right.
The Bartman.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to find my other. I had another thing I wanted to talk to you about here. Okay, yeah, another story I want to talk about in the nerd news. Amazon Luna cloud gaming service now available to everyone in mainland US with unique offer for Amazon Prime members. This is a new service. Unique, don't you love it, Kenton? You love the use of unique in that
I like
headline.
anything that's unique, so sign me up. Whatever this is, sign me up.
Obviously just available in the US for now, but I'm sure it'll come here eventually if it's a success. It's a streaming gaming service. So I guess Google did this too, right? They had their, I don't remember what it's called, Stadia was their service. They did. I didn't try it, didn't play it. But there's a few other versions of it. I think Apple has this gaming service. So this is kind of a new aspect of gaming that's increasing in popularity.
Yeah. And it says for Amazon Prime members, but does it say for Amazon Prime Canada?
No, this is not for Canada yet. It's just for Prime members
Okay.
in the
Did you say
US.
that already?
I did
Sorry,
say
was
this
thinking-
already, yes.
Okay. The
That's
whole
okay.
time I was thinking, like, can I use this?
You cannot.
That's why I didn't hear you, because I was asking myself the internal question.
Yeah. So, and the way this works, and my issue is always going to be with the controller, because I cannot. It says on here that you'll use it with your, I guess whatever you use Prime on, so it'll work with your Apple TV or your Roku device or whatever it is you use Prime on. It's going to be a separate app, I think, and you download it. You can play games using your phone as your controller. I guarantee they're going to have to sell a controller that pairs or something. There's probably exists like Bluetooth controllers that can pair, because this sucks. Your phone sucks as a controller when you're playing on a TV, because you can't look at your phone. You have to look at the TV, right? You can't you can't feel anything on your phone when you have to look at the TV. That's why that sucks, that part of it. But I kind of like the idea of kind of subscribing to a streaming gaming channel and being able to just play these games when I want, and then unsubscribing when I want to do it, just like any other streaming service.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't, even typing on my phone when I'm searching for something on a streaming app is not easy to do or fun.
You especially have the voice. If you have the voice control, you're used to that.
I've never got used to the voice control.
Oh, no?
It's funny.
Okay.
Nah, I mean, I tried when I got my new remote controls with my my high-speed internet. I was like super excited about it, and then I just stopped doing it. I don't know why. I just didn't. I don't enjoy talking into a device unless that happens to be a karaoke mic. That's like the one exception to the rule. But I don't know. It's weird. And gaming on the Apple TV or anything like that, it's just never. It's not even something that crosses my mind.
Yeah, I think they're trying to break into this. This is the thing. They're trying to compete. It's a lower price option then for people who aren't as serious and they don't want to buy an Xbox or buy a PlayStation 5. They want to play, they still want to play video games, but they're not like super gamers, right? So this is kind of a good option, I think, for those people. And it has some examples here. Prime Gaming Channel, rotating selection of games for free on Luna through a dedicated channel. For the month of March, Prime members can play Devil May Cry 5, Observer, System Redux, Fogs, Flashback, and from whatever this is, from the date, Immortals Fenyx Rising. Oh, that's a new game. Immortals Fenyx Rising is a new game. So it looks like a little preview week there from March 8th to 14th. So it's cool. You can kind of play this game, try it out. If you want to buy it, you can buy it probably. And then these other ones are all kind of older games, though, I think. Devil May Cry, I know, is an older series.
Will I understand Devil May Cry 5 if I haven't played the first 4?
I don't know, man. I think you have to play through all 4 of them before you play this one. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. No, that one that one is a slasher game. Devil May Cry is just hack and slash, mash buttons, and feel very satisfied in killing all the monsters. That's exactly what that game is. So they're all the same. I can tell you
Why
that
did
much.
they call it Devil May Care, by the way?
I don't know. Devil May Cry. I don't know where that comes from. There's some reason for it, I'm sure.
It probably should be called Devil May Care.
Yes.
That's probably because, forget it.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Come on. No.
Now we've explored it.
The Retro Channel features beloved classic games from publishers like Capcom and SNK, so subscribers can relive fan favorites like Street Fighter 2, Hyper Fighting, Metal Slug 3, Castlevania Anniversary Collection, and more for $4.99 a month. This I'm super interested in because these are all the titles from your Nintendo from when you were a kid, Super Nintendo, whatever. And again, it's on your TV. So I would need a controller similar to the Nintendo controller to play these. But I've been looking for somewhere to play Castlevania for sure because that's not available. Nintendo has the service. I do the subscription service for the Nintendo retro games, and they've got a lot of great games on there, all the Mario games and stuff. But there's no Castlevania yet. So yeah, this is an interesting development in this field because there's this demand for all these old games that were popular when we were kids. Now that we're all old, we want to play them again and feel like we're kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the kids want to play them too. Jack actually was just telling me that he still has his 3DS, which he loves, and it's like 7 or 8 years old now. This little handheld thing. And he's downloading all these old retro games like what's Earthbound was the big one. Earthbound he downloaded now, which is a Super Nintendo game. And he's just kind of collecting all these old retro games on his 3DS and playing them when he wants. So he really likes using it that way.
Oh, very cool. And it's funny that you mentioned Jack because the third one on the list.
Jackbox Games channel. Jackbox, have you played Jackbox games?
No, I don't know what any of this is,
okay.
Dan. This all to me looks like I don't know. I don't know what any of this is.
Well, I'm glad I'm talking to you about it then. No, this is the reason I ask is Jackbox is actually there's forms of Jackbox outside of console gaming. Like it's a game you play through your phone. It's one of those games where everybody logs on through their phone and can do something, they can draw or they can do something. So you don't need controllers to play. This is, I think, a good fit for this platform because I've got a couple of these game packs and there's a lot of fun little games. There's some word games, trivia games, lots of drawing and kind of Pictionary style games as well. So, and they're all like, they can play up to 8 people. You can have people watch and interact. This is a fun thing to do online. I'm sure there will be streaming aspects. I'm pretty sure Amazon also owns Twitch, right? Oh yeah, down here, look, live broadcasting to Twitch right there. So that's also part of it. So you can actually play this online with people. So this is going to be, I think, the strongest part of this feature for Amazon Luna.
Well, that's cool. As I say, it's probably not for me, but I'd be curious to see how it works.
Yeah, I will try. Whenever it comes to Canada, I'll let you know and I'll try it. I'll try the free trial anyway. But it says here, April 1st, so $9.99 a month for the base subscription. The family channel will cost, what's the family channel? I missed that part. $5.99 per month. And then the retro channel is $4.99 and the Ubisoft channel for $17.99. So that's something that's interesting as well. That's something I saw on the Xbox is now there's like an EA Sports app where I can just download games from EA and that's it. Or this is Ubisoft where I can just download Ubisoft games. So like it's a game developers a direct connection to the players. So there's almost no distributor in. I guess Amazon is the distributor in this case, right?
Yeah, I think so. As it is though, like every time, like it's getting ridiculous on Amazon when you click on something you want to watch and it says, "How do I watch this?" Have you seen that? And then you click on that and then you realize, oh, you can't unless you do an add-on. I think Amazon runs the risk of turning off subscribers by doing that, to tell you the truth. By like now that you subscribe to this, you think you're going to get everything, but you don't.
Yeah.
Now you got to subscribe to something else. I think that's a problem. I think that going forward, that is going to be a problem for Amazon. That's
a great segue into our main topic, which is going to be talking about these streaming services because we'll start with Prime then since we're talking about it. So I'm not signed in here again because I was just telling you about this new computer and I have to re-sign into everything. So I'm not signed in, but we can see everything that's available here on Prime. And this is the direction that Prime Video has gone with these add-ons. They have all these little add-ons that you can do. So you have your base subscription to Prime, which is what, like $12.99 or no, I guess it's your Amazon Prime subscription, right? It's what you use for your delivery. How much does that cost now?
I don't even, it's not that much actually, but I don't order much from Amazon anymore. No. I used to order way more. Ironically, before I had Amazon Prime, I ordered way more. And I just don't, there isn't that much I want to buy. Like I got a backlog of books. I got a backlog of music. I got a backlog of everything. So it's like I'm struggling just to consume the media that I've got, let alone order more. So at this point,
Oh, $7.99. Yeah, $7.99 a month. That's pretty good. So the base is $7.99 a month, and then you can add these on, and these cost anywhere between, I would say, $4.99. Some of them are $5.99, $6.99, and it's just another. You just add on to it, right? And so I have used a few of these. Have you done any of these add-ons on Prime?
Let me see.
Should I go through them?
No, you know what? No, but I did do one on Apple TV.
Okay, and it's the same kind of thing on Apple TV.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. It was BritBox. That's it.
BritBox, yes.
And I think you can actually get it through Prime too. Can you not?
You can, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like this is now the model that these platforms are following. So you have the overall streaming service of Amazon Prime. Apple TV Plus is the same thing on their end. They're doing the same thing. So they have all these little offshoots. And you can also rent, I believe you can just rent movies, like straight up just rent new movies on this stuff as well, right? Through this whole thing. So like whatever the new movie that was just released on demand for $30, like if it's that kind of movie where they do that, where they up the price, you can still get it through this as well. So yeah, it's an interesting model. It's kind of a one-stop shop for a lot of places. I think the idea is to have people just come to this one channel, not go to Netflix or anything else, just stay on the Prime channel. But I really only come here when the content brings me here. It's not something I check on a regular basis.
Yeah. Once again, I think it is a problem to get people to sign up for a subscription and then say, well, not this. And they go, you don't have this, and you don't have that, and you don't have this, and you don't have that. The only reason I added BritBox on is because you get, I think it was a 30-day free for 30 days, and I could watch 63 Up. I could watch, there's a detective series that I heard was amazing, and I watched it, and it was really good. Oh, I just can't think of the name of it right now. And there was a classic British TV series called Our Friends in the North, which I kept reading about, and I could finally watch it. And it was good. It was in fact, James Bond appears in it. Back in the day, the guy, who's James Bond? Why can't I think of
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. He is in the series, and it's one of his first jobs, I think, as an actor.
Oh, young Daniel Craig. Yes, cool. Nice.
So I made the most of that free 30 days, and then I pulled the plug. And hey, if another Up series movie comes out, I'll do the same thing again. And this time, I guess I'll have to pay for it because I got my free trial. But I just don't see, like, to me, this is going down the path of what the cable companies have always done to us.
Yes, exactly right. They're copying the cable companies. This is just more channels. That's all this is now, and it's a la carte. It's paying by the channel, just like the. I'm sure they'll develop some packages soon for discounts. Right? We'll put BritBox and a HeyU and a Super Channel together in a bundle, so you can save money. They're going to start doing that too.
Oh yeah, you see it coming, and the only way that this will not take hold is if people refuse to actually do the add-ons.
We'll see.
If you don't do them, like the thing that all of these streaming companies live in fear of is everybody just canceling the streaming company.
Right.
And that's why the pressure's on them to keep producing content, more and more content that people want to see, and then charging premiums for it. That's what we're going to see. That'll be the next front on this war. And I still pay the cable company. I still pay the piper at the cable company, and it's getting frustrating. But when there's something when there's something big in the news like there is now, I'm happy to have all those news channels and things like that are hard to sort of come by on streaming services. But it's something as a guy who is dreaming retirement dreams. One of the things that you want to dream about is what kind of media do I want to consume, and how much am I going to pay for this once my income that I'm used to starts not being as great as it once was. So it's definitely a question that everybody has to answer for themselves. But we live in an era where we can just stream practically anything. And if I had this when I was a kid, it would have, I would have just been blown away by it. You know?
I guess the question is how much of this is working? How many people are sticking with? Now there is the old I forgot to unsubscribe model, which is absolutely
Oh,
happening with this, and so I
yes.
will sign up for something. Shutter is one of them I've used. I've used my free trial for Shutter because it's all horror movies. I love
Yeah.
horror movies, and I watch a lot during the Halloween season, so I definitely did that, and that's good. I mean, it was $5.99 I think. So I've used it. No, I used my free trial 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and now I've this past one I actually rented, you paid for Shutter, but again, just pay for it for a month, $5.99, and then you watch horror movies for that month. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
$5.99 for a month of horror movies, that's not bad. So I wonder how many people are doing that, just paying for it a la carte 1 month at a time. As long as you remember to cancel, that's the only issue. So, and I find it pretty easy to do so. It's not like they deliberately make it confusing. I can cancel it, but it's not just, I always forget. Right. And then it rolls around.
Yeah.
So maybe I have to try doing it on the first of the month or something. I should get all my stuff lined up so it all does it at the first of the month. So remember
I
when to
remember
cancel.
I canceled, I put a notification in my calendar to cancel BritBox a couple days early. I was like, I'm not going to fool around with this. I'm not gonna like find out that I went 1 hour overtime.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I go,
$5.99.
right, right. And hey, you're right. It's not that much money, but the problem is with all of these streaming services is not much money month to month to month becomes a lot of money.
Yes. It's the
And
same.
yes, and it starts to add up. And when you actually do the math, it's like buying your Tim Hortons coffee every day. And you're like, I can't believe this is $1.50. So you're like, I'll buy 2 of them a day. And then by the end of the month, you're like, $85? What? Like, that's what they want. They want you to think that you're not spending very much to get something, but then not do the math over the course of a year or whatever. So yeah. So I can understand how this could be problematic. And Dan, what do you do with kids in the house who want to watch something and they're using the streaming service and then they decide that they're going to do the add-on? Does that
Right.
happen?
Well, not
that
for
happen to
me,
you?
because I control the passwords. I learned that lesson
Oh.
early in this era of being a parent in this digital age.
Yeah.
You have to control the passwords. When I think it was like a $500 or $1,000 charge to my credit card after
Oh.
one of my children, I'm not going to name the child, downloaded. It was, you've heard it a million times on the app, right? They're on an app. Oh, diamonds for my pet, and then boom, 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 and then it's a $500 charge. Anyway,
My Lord.
so yeah, but that's
Diamonds
true.
for the digital pets. That's what it's come to. Oh,
But
my God.
that's what this is, though. This is exactly you're exactly right. My kids could, like, if they had my password, just sign in, add on things. They could have like $100 cable bill or Amazon Prime bill, because they added all this stuff on and all these subscriptions ended. So yeah, you definitely have to keep a handle on it. I'm trying to I can't sign in because I'm can't remember any of my passwords, and I'm trying to get. I want to see what's on Prime. Have you watched anything on Prime other than Reacher? Is the only thing I've watched recently. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, it's back.
Is
Okay.
back, and
Yeah.
I love that. I just love that show. And Last One Laughing, which you have up there now, I've been
Yes.
watching.
Yes.
And it's trash TV, but yet I love it. It's good fun.
Canadian trash TV,
Yeah,
and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But actually, I haven't watched. I'm not caught up. So I've only watched the first couple episodes, but I was like, "What is this?" Like the first half of it, I'm like, "Is this going to be good?" And it's Jay Baruchel, who can't help but drop an F-bomb every second word. It's just, I guess, the way he talks.
It almost seems in the very first episode, he drops the F-bomb 100 times in a row, and it almost starts to seem forced. Like they're forcing him to do it so more people will watch because they can't believe how many times he's saying the F-bomb.
Right, but it's just casual. It just kind of shows how meaningless the word is, right? Because he just just drops it in all the time. So it's an interesting idea. It is like low budget Canadian reality TV because they're only like shooting over the course of 6 hours. So it's not like they're not actually making these people live with each other or anything like that. That would be too much. That would cost too much money to put these people up and feed them for a month or 2 months.
I was aware of this format already because I watched the Australian version of this on Amazon Prime another time. And I can't remember, there was one comedian on there who I knew and liked. And then the rest were like, I don't know who these people are. And I watched it and really they weren't that funny. Let's just, and I even then, a couple of them was like, let's see what their comedy's like. And so Amazon, these are all comedians that Amazon's had to deal with, right? So you can see their stand-up stuff too. And so I watched some of them and there was a couple who were legitimately good stand-up comics, but there's a lot of padding. In the Canadian one, there are legitimate comics in there, and there's some padding. But I mean, having Dave Foley and Tom Green in there is an absolute delight.
I was so excited to see Dave Foley. You can't tell you how happy I was to see that guy.
Oh, and Caroline Ray is she's a legitimate talent, right? She's a name. She is not
like, she's huge. I can't believe she's on this show, to be honest. That's kind of big deal.
So there are people on the show who are known, and it's good to see them. But I have to point out, Dave Foley is bringing the same energy he brought to the poker show when he was hosting it.
I used to love that show.
Me too.
Oh man, shuffle up and deal.
Dave Foley on that show, and it always made me laugh, would get to the point where he'd just be stifling yawns, where he'd just be like, I just don't care anymore. Yawn. Like, is that called The River? Yawn.
Right.
Like just like, I'm phoning it in here, man. I need a paycheck. And he's got that same energy on Last One Laughing, which is kind of like, all right, here I am. Is this the couch? Is this the couch that I sit on?
But it's funny. The way he does it is funny.
Yes, Colin Mockery is on it.
Yes, Colin Mockery is amazing. He is the funniest guy in the room, in my opinion. That guy, he's so hilarious.
He is hilarious, and he is legitimately, and he's funny. He's used to being funny in an environment where there's just stuff lying around. So this was sort of made for him.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think the main flaw of the show was in its premise, which is if you laugh twice, you have to leave the show. But then that discourages people from being funny and having a good time. So you could end up with a show where everyone just sits around and glumly looks at one another. So there's
a bit of that. There is a bit of that happening.
That's right. So you got to be careful with this show. This show could very easily turn into a nothing. This is like, what happens if everybody makes it to the end and nobody's laughed? What happens? Like, then what? Then how are you going to break this?
Well, I don't think that happens, obviously, right? They have to find a way to do it.
I'm caught up, and I'm starting to wonder, I'm not going to say anything about who's on or who's off, but I'm starting to wonder if there aren't some people on the show who just won't laugh. Like, I think there's more than one person on that show, and it's not giving away anything. Some people are easier laughers than others. And if you're not an easy laugher, you can easily make it to the end of this. Right?
You just have to say it's 6 hours. Not even. It's not even a full day of work.
6 hours.
They couldn't even make it 8 hours. They couldn't even make it 8 hours of the break. And they probably get breaks too. They do get breaks, by the way. They do
lunch. They have
lunch. They pause. Whenever he comes in there, they can break. They can laugh or smile while he's in there talking to them, scolding them for whatever. But I do like him. I like his delivery, and I am having fun watching it. So I will continue to watch it. It's Canadian. It's good Canadian content, right, Kenton?
It seems to me that that's the whole basis for this show existing.
Yes.
Is that Amazon has been taken to task, like all the streaming companies, by the CRTC. The Canadian government wants to see more Canadian content.
Right.
And that's a thing in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is Amazon going, okay, this is what you said you wanted. So here it is. The same trashy content we already produced for Australia and who knows where else. I mean, that's the only one that I noticed. There's probably other ones on there too. And here you go. Look, it's a bunch of Canadian talent. It's Canadian content on your Amazon Prime service. So there you go. We're doing what you want us to do, Government of Canada.
And I don't mind it, to be honest. I'm okay. I like promotion of Canadian content. I like the CanCon rules we have. Some of them, but I think that it's good to promote it, and I'm glad to see it. So I will absolutely watch it and support that kind of stuff. Now, I want to move on to some of the quote unquote I want to call them bargain basement platforms. These are the free options out there for streaming that we haven't really talked about, and I've been watching more in the last few months because I found some gems on here. I have to say, if you don't, and this is becoming a bigger issue in this era in which everybody owns media and they're not allowed to play it on other places. So you can't stream it in Canada, you can't stream it on Netflix. Like, everybody's very, very proprietary about their movies and their TV shows. So what about all the movies and TV shows that were released before this stuff started? Now, of course, Amazon Amazon is producing Maisel itself. They own that, right? They're producing their own stuff. But there's so much content that was made before that, and that's where I go. Tubi is the source for that for me, anyway. Although they do have originals, as you can see here on the screen. This is called Unborn, which is a Tubi original, but it's very much bargain basement, kind of like low. It's free, so there's no cost to it. There are ads, but the ads are not very intrusive. But you can see here, there's kind of some fun stuff in here. Alf, I could watch Alf and Delirious. There's a good movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything with John Candy is a delight.
Porky's 2.
Oh my God.
Porky's Revenge. They got all the pork. I got to do Porky's.
That's Canadian content too.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think those movies hold up there, Dan.
You sure?
Those movies. Yes, I have a bad feeling. Like, now when you watch the MASH movie, which was like the biggest comedy hit for decades.
Yeah.
And now you watch it and you're like, I think these guys need to be locked up for their antisocial behavior, which is like presented as shenanigans.
Right.
And the thing, I have a feeling that Porky's shenanigans in quotations will have started to look like crimes.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. That's true.
I
Okay.
think so.
Maybe I won't watch those. Okay. But I will show you what I have watched on here. You can see my back history. And I started, did I talk about the FX movies on this podcast? I don't remember.
I don't think
talk to you about them. Okay, so FX, I started with these. This is the Brian Dennehy and Brian Brown, the two Brians.
Yeah.
Do you remember these movies, Kenton?
Oh, yeah, I saw
Okay.
them.
Yeah. So this is hilarious because, what it was interesting to me, I watched both of these, and the first one was I definitely remember the second one more clearly. I think the second one I had like recorded on VHS tape or something, because I definitely had the feeling that I'd watched it over and over and over again. Like I had that familiarity. So and I like the second one much better. It's all about special effects. Like Brian Brown is a special effects wizard. He makes like gory blood stuff and all kinds of practical special effects. So they use that to help solve crimes. It's awesome. And there was a series too, which is not on here, and I would love to see it, but I don't know where I can find that. Titanic 2. I only watched this for about 2 minutes and then turned it off. I'm going to remove that from my history. That is the worst idea ever. Titanic 2, Electric Boogaloo. Akira, phenomenal film. My son Jack is going to watch this now. He loves, he's starting to get into anime, and Akira is one of the classic like anime style movies, right?
Remo Williams.
Remo Williams. I have not finished that one yet. Do you remember that one?
Williams.
Yeah.
That's when I was working at the town cinema. That was a big hit movie back then. And it even at the end says Remo Williams will be back in a new adventure or some such thing, and it never happened.
Yes.
But I enjoyed Remo Williams. He was like a more badass American style James Bond, I think, is where they got the idea. And that's there's some great hijinks around the Statue of Liberty in that film. So yeah, I love Remo Williams. Fred Ward.
Yeah, he's funny. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it yet, but it's a good movie. And I there's a lot of great like old 80s action movies on this. Buckaroo Banzai is on here as well. I watched Buckaroo Banzai. Robot Jocks I watched. Robot Jocks is about these it's like stop motion animation for the robots, like these giant robots that fight each other in this arena, but it looks good. It holds up. I mean, yes, it's stop motion. It doesn't look real, but it looks good, right? So that kind of stuff is really cool in here. And then this one, the Alan Quartermain series. Oh my God, Kenton. Okay, do you remember these Alan Quartermain movies?
Yeah, I do. They were they Raiders of the Lost Ark ripoffs?
Pretty much, yeah. That's right. And they were Cannon films. So Cannon is the company that made a lot of these like cheesy. There's a lot of Cannon films on Tubi as well. Anybody who's interested in Cannon, you can see this stuff. These are cheesy, low budget 80s movies. Well, I would say high budget, low quality is kind of how I describe it, because their budget isn't necessarily low. Actually, the first Alan Quartermain movie is pretty good. It's not a bad movie at all. It is an Indiana Jones ripoff, but in fact, Alan Quartermain, it's based on an earlier series. It's actually more like Indiana Jones ripped off Alan Quartermain, but then become popular because Alan Quartermain was a series from it was an old 30s series from back in the day. So obviously, Lucas and Spielberg bore from that for Indiana Jones, but they did this. Cannon Films adapted this when Indiana Jones came out to directly ride the coattails of that. So the first one's pretty good. The second one is horrible. Holy crap, was that awful. And it's very, very questionable. There's a lot of just slash the budget, horrible special effects, and lots of questionable choices regarding the indigenous people of Africa. There's a lot of tribes being slaughtered and stuff like that. It's really disturbing at points. So I wouldn't recommend watching that second one. And this third one, this Temple of the Skulls, I've not watched. So it's obviously, look at this, Alan Quartermain and the Temple of the Skulls came out right around the same time as the Crystal Skull for They're
Was
just,
it
you
Crystal
know,
Skull or Temple of Doom?
it says Temple. Oh, it says Temple of Skulls.
So
So
they
they're like
basically combined the two.
exactly right. But this is what this is now. It's become. I don't know who's playing Alan Quartermain in the originals. It was what's his name? Shoot, blanking. I'll look it up. He was a very big star in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah, what's his name? What's his name? Old what's his name? I'm not asking, I'm telling you. What's his name is the star of the film.
Is that it? You'll see his face, Richard Chamberlain.
Right, Richard Chamberlain.
There he
Of
is,
course,
yeah.
I can't believe I couldn't think of
And
his name.
Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone's in it too. It's a good one. Alan Quartermain and the Lost City of Gold is good. That's the first one. And no, sorry, that's not. That's the bad one. The first one is just called King Solomon's Mines. That's it. There's no Alan Quartermain in the title. The first one's called King
Right.
Solomon's Mines. This one is the bad one. Lost City of Gold is the bad one. Do not watch that one.
Yeah, that's right. I remember when King Solomon's Mines was released into theaters, and everybody just kind of went, "Well, you're doing an old bait and switch on us here."
Right.
Where we think this might be something else. And actually, Battlestar Galactica was the same for Star Wars.
Exactly.
Where it's like,
So-
hey, maybe some people will think this is Star Wars, so let's put it
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
And the other stuff on Tubi, there is some good stuff. You can really see, like, there's a lot of crap. Obviously, Tubi is the kind of place where you have to really sort through the crap to get to some good stuff. So you'll find some stuff on here. Fans of like Hell's Kitchen or any Kitchen Nightmares, everything Gordon Ramsay's on here. So it just seems like they're licensing these things. This is what's happening now. Tubi is this platform that's reaching out to like whoever owns this content and saying, we want to license this to stream on our platform. We'll pay you for that. They're offering it free to viewers and then monetizing through advertising. We'll see whether or not it works. The advertising model has not really been successful in past, like Crackle. Remember Crackle? That didn't really work.
No, well, it had comedians in cars getting coffee, so it had that. It had the one little thing that it needed in order to make it work. And I guess that and then they sold it to Netflix, so I guess they cashed out on the whole thing.
Yep.
But
And then I think they shut it down. That whole thing was owned by Sony, and Sony just shut it down. And I don't know.
Right.
I guess Sony is working on their own. And there's the other thing we should talk about is that, and we won't get into it this episode, but maybe another episode, is like Paramount Plus and Peacock and all these, like the big studios are all just doing their own streaming services. So basically it's just a direct feed right to the consumer rather than going through all these cable companies. And I honestly I think the cable companies, their days are numbered. They really have, like, they're going to have to, like, it's a good thing they're all also own all the cell phone companies, because that's really, they're going to be their bread and butter for the next while, is just cell phone plans and all. They should just drop the whole cable package thing altogether. And maybe live streaming. Maybe they should do the live streaming, right? Maybe that's where you have to go, because that's the only place they can advertise and make money in advertising is in live events,
that's right.
as we've talked about. We should probably get things wrapped up here. I do want to touch on the Roku channel just quickly, because something else that's worth looking at is the Roku channel. If you have a Roku, and this is something that's only included if you buy a Roku device. So they have a couple different devices, just like, I guess, Roku, Amazon Fire is the other one. And then there's the Apple TV, which you have, right? Do you have an Apple TV?
I do.
Yes. And then,
two Apple TVs. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a couple different boxes you can get. So Roku, this is like an add-on you get. So there are a lot of free movies and TV shows you can watch here. You can just go through here and see. There's a bunch of stuff they do. I'm already on this. You can see there's actually, and these are actual movies that are good, but they're not like super, high profile. They're a lot of older ones. Anything jumping out at you here, Kenton?
Nothing.
King of New York with Christopher Walken, like that's a good one. Again, older movies though, right? This is not.
Sorry, I thought it was the other King of New York. I thought it was that one with what's his name, Pete Davidson. Isn't that?
Oh God, no, that's King of Staten Island.
Oh right. Oh my God.
That's a Prime
That's what I
thing.
thought
That's
it
not.
was.
That's over on Prime.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy. Okay, but it's
Nobody
got like,
does.
but here they've got original shows too. Reno 911. Remember that? That was a very popular show. They've got old episodes and new episodes, new originals. So they're putting out some money for that. That's a very popular show, right? They've also got crappy Christmas movies, Die Hard with Kevin Hart, whatever that is. So they're getting some big names. The Most Dangerous Game, which I believe is a adaptation of the famous short story, and it stars Christoph Waltz. They're putting some money into this, but is this going to work, or you think it's going to be another, whatever the hell that one was that died? What was the one that was on the phones that 10-minute episodes? Remember that one?
No.
No, they advertised in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, it rings a bell. I just don't remember what it was.
And it just completely collapsed. They made all this
Oh yeah,
content.
everyone was making fun of it.
Quibi.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it was
yes,
like they were like went in big. They had lots of money. Yeah, Jeffrey Katzenberg was behind it, so they really big on this short content, short episodes kind of thing, and it just flopped big time. So yeah, not a not a good thing for sure. But anyway, Roku, the one thing I like about Roku is that they have these streaming channels. I still like to watch like just something on. I still
yeah.
like to have it. That's the one thing that cable still offers that streaming services do not. But we are seeing more and more of this. Stack TV, I think we talked about last time we brought up this topic, is the thing where you can get a certain group of channels together streaming live just as they are on your TV. And that's like they're all owned by Chorus. So they're not great if you're not into this stuff like HGTV. If you like Guy Fieri, or the Food Network rather. If you like Guy Fieri, you're good there. But like that's that kind of stuff. It's not like the stuff I would like. I would like to see this from Bell, because they would have the Sci-Fi Channel and the Comedy Channel and all the channels that I actually like to watch. Not that stuff. But if you have a Roku, there's also streaming channels, and I can't see them on this channel. You have to be signed in. I don't know why. They should probably put it on here so I can actually see what it is. But it's got streaming channels for all kinds of stuff. It's got like a show that shows Baywatch all the time, Mystery Science Theater all the time, like Law and Order. Like they just stream episode after episode of these shows. It's crazy. It really is. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I will go down a rabbit hole on Roku every once in a while and just find something there and just watch it and veg out and watch it for a couple hours. It's so much fun.
Wow, that's great. You sure know you're streaming, Dan. You're talking
Well,
a
Kenton,
lot about streaming today.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know what that says about me. It means I've been spending a lot of time inside lately. I think we all have been,
Yeah,
but
no kidding.
that has been really this has been my last few months of just watching TV, Kenton. That's just what I do.
Yeah, that's what everybody does. There's nothing. What else? What else are you gonna do? Like,
So
that's what everybody's talking about. I went out for the first time yesterday to a restaurant in a while, and met my mom and her husband there. And what did we talk about? Well, we watch on TV. That's what everyone.
Yeah.
What else? Nothing else really going.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's do some recommendations before we wrap up the podcast today.
All right, why don't you go first?
I'm a little ashamed to admit this because I'm a huge Ridley Scott fan, but it took me this long to finally start watching Raised by Wolves, which is a series. You haven't seen it? No, you're shaking your
No,
head.
I
So
don't
that's
know
an
it. I don't know it.
HBO Max. I don't know the difference between HBO and HBO Max. I'm just going to say HBO Max for everything now, because it's Crave for me. It's whatever it is. It's Crave for us. We have the Crave subscription. And that's we didn't really talk about that in this discussion, but it's I would say the Crave's selection is good. It feels more curated than most. Like their selection of Christmas movies was really good over the holidays. So I think there's more thought put into what they choose there. They're trying to curate a premium selection of movies and TV. And certainly HBO gives them that. So Raised by Wolves is so good. It feels like adjacent to Alien. It feels like adjacent to that Alien world. So he's exploring more ideas that he had while making those Alien movies. And I don't know if he's ever going to make another one. Or they're going to, that last one wasn't very good, the Alien Covenant. I don't know if they're going to make another
No,
one
it was
or not.
bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
But anyway, it's been a while, so I don't know if they're going to do that. But he's like, this is a great series. It's about the androids. It's kind of like those androids from Alien, like with the white liquid for blood. So that's what we see here, and it's a story about these androids that are raising these children. The larger world is this. It's like in a way in the future, this galactic, not galactic. Sorry, it's a war between factions on Earth. The atheists versus the Mithraic is very religious. It's a great like world they're building with this war going on, these characters. It's got the dude from Vikings, the main guy from Vikings from the early seasons, like the main guy. I don't remember his name. He's awesome.
Larson.
I loved it.
His name's Larson. I'm pretty
Larson.
Sure.
His name's Larson. There you go.
I'm kidding.
Because he's Icelandic. But I think his name might be Lars. It might be Lars. So it might actually be, whether his dad's name is Lars, I don't know. But anyway, no, it's good. He's very good. It's a great series. Raised by Wolves on Crave TV in Canada, HBO Max in US, and I can't stop watching it every night before we go to bed. It's an episode of Raised by Wolves, and there's 2 seasons. I think they're shorter seasons, so maybe 10 episodes a piece, and I think a 3rd season is on its way as well. So I just can't wait to keep watching this.
Well, Dan, since you went with HBO Max and Crave, I'll do the same. I have a couple. I was sort of juggling a couple here. I wasn't sure which one I was going to go with, but I will go with that. And I will say that though I have not seen the new Suicide Squad film, though I've not seen it, though I'm not interested in seeing it, I watched Peacemaker. And it is good, clean fun, lots of fun. And for the main theme song alone, where if people haven't seen it, it's so amusing. I could just watch that on repeat 10,000 times. It's so well done. I just like the humor. I liked the action. I liked the story. And it kept me going all the way through. I was looking forward to seeing how it would end. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there was a surprise in the ending that I was not expecting whatsoever, and that tickled my ribs. And I think I'm all for more Peacemaker. Maybe I will see the Suicide Squad movie now, something I never thought I'd ever utter. I'd never utter those words. But
it's the Suicide Squad, right? Same thing as the Batman. We're coming back home to the. It's all about the. So this is what they're doing now for all the DC movies. Is the, but that one's is John Cena. Who knew John Cena could be an actor, right?
And he's great in it.
He's and I honestly have to say I've liked him in most things I've seen him in. He's been pretty good. So you got to give it to John Cena. I started watching that Suicide Squad movie on Crave one night, and then I just got confused, so I stopped watching it because I didn't know what the hell was going on. It's on Crave. Yeah, it's on Crave. You can watch it. And I probably would watch this first. I think I should watch this first because I think I should have some kind of investment in the movie before I watch it. Because really, the last one was awful, and I do not want to see it. I don't want to revisit any of that stuff. And there are some of the same characters from that movie in this movie too. That's why I'm confused about it. So anyway, I will watch Peacemaker first, and I've heard clips of the song on TikTok and see people talking about it on TikTok. I'm seeing cosplay of the freaking such an awesome outfit. That costume is wicked. I love it. So yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. And I will see the Suicide Squad. We'll talk about it maybe when we both finally get around to seeing it. After I see The Batman, which I'm going to go see this weekend, and I'll tell you about it on the Star Wars Nerds next week.
One of my favorite bands of all time is The. And so maybe we need to do maybe it's time for The to release a new album called The. Maybe. I think the time is right for that to happen.
I think you've hit on something there, Kenton. Let's get on that. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of the Media Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the door hit you on the ass.